Today is the 8th of June. Closing shade, so it won't be so bright in here. I'm down in the lower level collecting books, but unfortunately the book I wanted I took upstairs. So yeah, so that was, oh no I didn't. Here's the book. I was reading this book this afternoon. I mentioned that I was going to finish reading Open City by Teju Cole, but that I found that the thing sucked, and that I was going to read this, The Diary of a Bad Year by J.M. Coetzee. So I've been reading that this afternoon, and I came down here on the lower level to see what else other books I have by this writer, and I found this one by him, A Boyhood, a memoir by M.J. Coetzee. And then I found The Slow Man by him, J.M. Coetzee. And I found this by him, Life and Times of Michael K. It says here, in South Africa, torn by civil war, Michael K. sets out to take his ailing mother back to her rural home. On the way there, she dies, leaving him alone in the anarchic world of brutal roving armies. Imprisoned, Michael is unable to bear confinement and escapes, determined to live with dignity. This life-affirming novel goes to the center of human experience, the need for an interior spiritual life, for some connections to the world in which we live, and the purity of vision. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? And I have this by J.M. Coetzee, Waiting for the Barbarians. This is a novel. I have his novel Foe, which is a retelling of, I think, Robinson Crusoe. And he won the Booker Prize for this novel, Disgrace. I was going to read this one, but I decided that I was going to read Diary of a Bad Year first, because I came across this and I wanted to check it out. And then I have The Age of Iron, a novel by him. It says, in Cape Town, South Africa, an old woman is dying of cancer. A classic professor, Mrs. Curran, has been opposed to the lies and brutality of apartheid all her life, but has lived insulated from its true horrors. Now she is suddenly forced to come to terms with the iron-hearted rage that the system has wrought. In an extended letter to her daughter, who has long since fled to America, Mrs. Curran recounts the strange events of her dying days. She witnesses the burning of a nearby black township and discovers the bullet-ridden body of a servant's son. A teenage black activist hiding in her house is killed by the security forces. And through it all, her only companion, the only person to whom she can confess her mounting anger and despair, is a homeless man, an alcoholic, who one day appears on her doorstep. So then I have this one. This is called Elizabeth Costello by J.M. Coetzee. I don't know what this is about, since I don't have any kind of descriptions of it. So those are the ones I have by him in my library. And I decided, like I said, that I would read this one. Today I was watching a BookTube video, and the name John Gardner came up. And I wanted to show my John Gardner collection. This is his book on moral fiction by John Gardner. This is his stories and tales by John Gardner. The King's Indian, This is his novel Nickel Mountain, was made into a movie a couple of years ago by John Gardner. This is Freddie's book, a novel by John Gardner. October Light by John Gardner. October Light. It says here in the back, James Page has blown his sister's TV to hell with a shotgun and chased her into her room with the firewood club. There she will live or die on a diet of apples, lurid fantasies of illicit drugs, kinky violence, and casual sex. But the fantasies end and reality is right outside the door. The big brother and sister war is on. Then I have his book, The Art of Fiction, Gradell by John Gardner, The Art of Living and Other Stories by John Gardner. I have a hardback edition of Nickel Mountain. I think I showed this in previous videos because I think it was the illustrations in here, but now I don't see it. Anyway, Nickel Mountain. And I have this big hardback, the Sunlight Dialogues. He has become a major contemporary writer, the New York Times recently said of John Gardner. His widely acclaimed The Wreckage of Agathon was hailed by William H. Gass as one of the finest of our contemporary fictions. The extraordinary praise that greeted his Gradell is excerpted on the back of this jacket. Now, with the Sunlight Dialogues, he gives us his most ambitious and most astonishing work, a world-sized novel in which the complex life of American small town is perceived as an all-encompassing medieval romance in modern dress, pathless forests with 20th century knights, ladies, and wizards. The central plot concerns the quest of a noble but somewhat befuddled old police chief to get hold of and, more important, understand a strange musician called the Sunlight Man. What the Sunlight Man believes in of anything is the absolute existential freedom. What Chief of Police Fred Cumley believes is not only law and order, but also justice, absolute justice here and now. The two mad idealists hunt each other until each drives his enemy to a bedrock humanness stripped of illusions and full of grace. So, I've had this for a long time. I haven't read it. I think the thing I read a long time ago, I read one of these, but I can't remember which one it was. I can't remember. Anyway, that's John Gardner collection. John Gardner, if I remember correctly, was killed in a motorcycle accident. He was a friend of Joyce Carol Oates, I think. I like the cover of this one, don't you? Art of Living and Other Stories. So that's John Gardner collection. That's my J.M. Cortez collection. I came down here primarily, I was going to quote in my online diary the treatise on earthly mindedness. I was reading this today. I've been kind of in an out of it kind of mood today, just going from here to there, and I was reading on Walking with God a little bit, and I thought about quoting it in my online diaries, but I don't know what I'm going to do. So that's my day here. It is 4:34 in the afternoon, sun shining, and today's a Wednesday, and so that's the book world here today. I'm hoping you're having a good day.